is a video just so that we have a reference to what the AWG software panel looks like. Once you have the AWG connected accordingly to your PC, this would be the interface that you'll be prompted with. So on the left hand side here, you can see I have a P9336A connected, and that is the address to it. And this should match what you see in the connection scope as well. So there's automatic versus manual in the settings. I go by default, the automatic. There's an auto refresh, and there's also a temperature of what the module temperature is. There's a reference as well. So because this is a 3-channel AWG, you should see the 3 channels depending on how it's connected. So I have an option to go waveform or marker, continuous versus burst, and of course if it's a burst, then I have to get to do a burst count. As for a trigger, I could always have it as immediate, or I could disable it for just constant continuous signaling, or if I have a software to control it, or I'm using a trigger from the chassis or an external. And of course, the waveform that you have, the sample rate, and output delay. In terms of gain control, there's composite versus component, so you would adjust the parameters accordingly. And if you like to have an offset, that could be loaded in, as well as a common mode and a correction filter mode. There's also an option to synchronize the generation, and that's just an event of what is on. Okay, so it's similar across all 3 channels. You shouldn't see anything different. Then next we have connectors. You have the choice of single-ended versus differential. You could play around with the impedance and of course the polarity. If you have a external triggering, you might want to put in the trigger threshold, input slope, and the output polarity based on which external triggering you're using. So in terms of waveform segment, I could always download from a previous waveform that I've previously created and load it up. There's also sequencing, so that you could put in different waveforms as they go, and this is just a sequence builder. And then we have the triggers and markers tab, where you could edit them as you need. You can also choose to sync this with, if you have 2 AWGs, I would assume. So then you'll have to declare one as a master and the other as a slave, otherwise it's off. And then if you do have device synced together, you would want to add in a group signal and a slave signal. So because I do not have one that's connected at the moment, this would be non-initial. Last but not least, there's a reference plot, so I am phase locked to the chassis at 100 MHz. So this is an overview of the software panel. So under here, under the file, you get to do a connect, save connection, delete save connection, create waveforms and save them. Under view, there's preferences and just to refresh. Utilities is just to reset or clear the memory. If you want to do a self-test, you can hit self-test. As with all self-tests, it will take a little while, so please bear with me here. So this is a good practice. You could always do a self-test first before connecting it to anything else to ensure your AWG is functioning accordingly. So I have the self-test passed and it says it's complete. If I want to, I can always save this as a text file. I'm not going to save it for now, so I'll just leave it be and close it. So, and there's also a memory test and calibration options, so I'll just pop that up so that you have an idea of what the calibration preferences are available to you. There's also an option to put in a passphrase so that someone doesn't get to just play around with the calibration files. So we do have a tool to monitor driver calls in case you need to. Close that. And of course, there's a help file available. If you click on it, this is for the software panel, or what we call the SFP. So you could do how to generate a waveform and go through the details. Okay. So in an occasion where you do not have a hardware connected, you could always choose to go with a simulation mode, and you should still be able to access the help files. Otherwise, these help files should be under the program files and under MAWG. So that's all I have. Thank you.